The Go Radio Business Show with Trywire.com.
Tom, only one thing we can start with this week.
Scotland the Brave.
Here we come, America. Right, you booked up already?
I'm depending on you, Willie. I'm going in your suitcase, I think.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it's a good job we've had quite a gap because my voice was gone, right? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday last
So you were at the game?
I was at the game.
I was not at the game.
Yeah.
I stayed at home. My son was coming home, so we watched it, Marion, myself and Jamie, in the house, and it was brilliant.
Well, we told the viewers and the listeners that if we won, I would come with a Scotland tap on, but this is not any ordinary Scotland
Tell
tap.
us about this
so
strip,
if you can read
Willie.
this strip was awarded to the wonderful Jimmy Johnson when he was picked in part of Scotland's greatest ever team, and this was given to Jimmy, and Jimmy very kindly gave it to me. Right?
Well, I think you gave Jimmy quite a lot. You took care of him. I know you don't like to talk about it, but you're a
here's
very
what
good
I'm going to
friend.
do. This is the first time I've ever wore it, and what I'm going to do next week is I'm going to get a hold of Jimmy's son, young James, and I'm going to give it to him.
Oh, wonderful.
Right?
Wonderful.
As long as he tells me he'll keep it. Don't put it on eBay.
So any tips how to get to America, Willie? We don't know the group. We don't know when. But we don't even know if it's going to be in America. We might be in Mexico or Canada. Is that right?
Whatever happens, we'll play part of it in America. We could have one game in Mexico, one game in Canada, one game wherever.
Right.
Or Brazil even, right? So what I'm going to do is next week, once the draw is made, trust me, I will be on the case minutes after it.
Good.
And I will get you sorted out.
Okay, listeners and viewers, you're my witness. Willie is paying for me to go to America. Thank you, Willie.
I think I'll need to write to FIFA to see if we're definitely in or no. Right? Maybe try and backtrack and get out it, you know. But anyway, well done to Stevie Clark.
Yes.
Well done to Mike Mulroney, Ian Maxwell, everybody at the SFA. Brilliant. 28 years we've been waiting for this. So, and we've always said, Tom, it'll be great for business.
So you talked about it last week. You said this result could lift a nation.
Yes.
And I think it has lifted the nation.
100%. Everybody was buzzing. And I'll give you a great story about it, right? About 10 weeks ago, this lady phoned me. She's one of the shop owners in Mount Florida, right? So way back years ago, I used to have a wee shop in Mount Florida, 40 odd years ago.
Was it not a pub?
No, it wasn't a pub. It sold second-hand TVs, right?
You sold second-hand TVs?
Yes. This was at a time when everybody wanted a portable for the Wayne's bedroom, right? So I couldn't get enough of them. Right? So, and I had a wee flat room in Somerville Drive. And then I got involved with Queen's Park and I play a wee game of poker up in a wee local place every Thursday.
And you had a wee pub there?
I had a wee bit away from there, but I did have a pub.
Did you?
Yeah, the Maya Bar, right?
Right.
Anyway, this woman said to me, we're going to get all the shop owners in Mount Florida and we're going to have this conference in Hampden. Will you come and talk at it? And I went, right, okay. Right. But she didn't tell me it was at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
right?
Willie.
The morning after the Scotland game.
After the Scotland game?
My voice is like this. I'm trying. Anyway, the week before I'm all geared up to do this thing, I'm up in the wee place where I play poker, a wee snooker hall. Right. And the woman said to me, oh, William, I can't wait till next week to your talk. I went, brilliant. She went, aye, it's in here. I went, no, it's not, it's in Hampden. She went, no, it's in here, it's changed. I went, all right. Right, so anyway, I go to the game and I turn up in the morning. And there's got a lovely lounge in Minnesota Fats. We shout out for Sandra and Linda.
What's it called?
Minnesota Fats, snooker club up Mount Florida.
Right.
Brilliant, right? So anyway, I turn up 8 o'clock in the morning, wee cup of tea, wee croissant.
Tatty scone?
Tatty scone, roll sausage, right? Anyway, I stands up. There's about 45 people there. Here's my opening line, Sam. Before we start here, I just want to make a point. When I was booked for this gig, it was booked for Hampden. I've got 7-hour ticks round there with all my gear all ready to set up in Hampden. And then I'm in a snooker hall in Mount Florida. Tell them what a come down.
What a come down,
I'm
Willie.
telling you, the presentation wasn't that good, I can tell you.
It's certainly lifted you and me, the Scotland
definitely.
result.
I'm still chuckling about it. Honest to God, honestly. I've been laughing all week with Stevie Clark. I know you don't believe that.
I don't believe that. Can we get Stevie to laugh?
I want to shout out for Stevie Clark. I want to mention
Absolutely.
this. Stevie Clark and all the lads have been using Lesser Hampden for the last couple of years.
Right.
They train there, they eat there, all the stuff. Stevie Clark, after all that euphoria, all the next day up in the hotel, took the time to come all the way over to Lesser Hampden and to thank all the staff at Queen's Park. So I want to thank him for that. So well done.
And the other thing, because I watch leaders, and Stevie Clarke is a leader. He's led that team to our first World Cup in a great number of years, since
28.
Yeah, 1998, Willie. It was the year I sold the business.
You were there.
Wow. I didn't quite make the game, but that's a different story for a different time.
That's a whole show.
I was in Paris, but I wasn't quite at the game. So a couple of the players, and Andy Robertson did himself proud as well, and after the game, and a couple of the players said Stevie Clarke's speech in the dressing room before they went out was transformational.
Yeah.
So I don't know if these things ever get filmed, Willie, but that would be a great leadership thing to see what Steve said.
Yeah. I'll ask Mike Mulroney, the president, or Ian Maxwell, the chief executive, if they've got a copy of the video.
And I've sent Mike a wee video that I think Steve should play to the players before the opening game, because I think it will lift them. And of course, we'll win the World Cup.
Brilliant. Of course.
Brilliant.
Of course. So just on that, any finish?
Yes.
Of all the turmoil going on at the BBC in the last 2 weeks, you know, Doctrine, VT, all of that kind of stuff, what do you think the most complaints that the BBC have had in the last week?
I don't know.
The over-coverage of Scotland getting to the World Cup.
I'm sure that's an SNP
plot. Oh my
Willie.
God. I'm sure next week.
That's an SNP
No, but
plot.
next week we'll have a rerun of the 66 World Cup final, no, just to balance it out, you know. But all I can say, all the English viewers.
Have we got any?
See you there.
You sound like Chick Young there.
That's the worst thing you've ever said to me.
Sorry. Right. So, Willie, let's get on to the serious business of Rachel Reeves' budget.
Yep.
What do you think?
To be honest with you, I was looking to see what the commentator said today, and I have to say to you, when I read a headline in the Daily Record and it's thank you, 20,000 kids in Scotland are out of poverty, it's a good budget.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
But this is the business show.
Yep.
So what do you think? Is it a budget for business?
No. Bluntly.
Okay,
no.
Goodbye.
No.
That's it.
Bluntly, no. No.
Right.
The thing that's missing is where is the growth? And to be fair, Rachel was talking about it yesterday. She's talking about it this morning on Bloomberg. I just need to see the proof as to where the growth comes from.
Yeah.
She's still saying it, you know, that she's driving the economy. Put it this way, she has to.
So I spent the time, Willie, quite a sad soul last night, trying to get to grips with the detail, because the devil's always in the detail. And the thing about living in Scotland, we won't absolutely know what the outcome is until January the 13th, when the Scottish Government put out their budget.
But we do know they're 830 million better off.
We do know that, Willie,
Yep.
and that seems to me like a lot of money on top of the billion
Unspent, yes.
that was through this thing called the Barnett formula, which basically, I mean, the way I look at it is it taxes the prosperous southeast of England and it helps us in Scotland.
Yeah.
People might disagree with that. Come on, let's debate it. I like an argument, as you know. But let's just talk about this budget, because I'm no happy. First of all, the run-up to the budget was a farce.
Horrendous.
And it created the wrong behaviour. Businesses stopped investing. Oh, are we going to get a tax on this? Oh, are we going to get a tax on that? Oh, and so the amount of leaks. So first of all,
Tom, can I say to you?
Yes,
It got even worse right up to the last minute.
I know.
The farce continued up until her standing with the OBR.
I was coming to that, Willie.
Stole your line.
You've stole my line yet again, but I don't mind. So I think, first of all, get control of your brief. It shouldn't be leaked. And I know politics is a dirty game and people are, even in our own party, are briefing against her, which is crazy.
Yep.
Crazy stuff. I mean, it doesn't really happen in business. Or if it does, we get rid of the people who are briefing against us, because it can't be. But in the UK government's budget, I would say there is nothing there to encourage business. This is a tax and spend budget. And remember, the people that she's taxing are the hard-working people of the UK. And Scotland's still part of the UK.
Yep.
Last time I checked. And therefore, 26 billion of additional taxes by 2030.
Yep.
And there are some things like the cap, the 2-child cap, and if that indeed brings children out of poverty, then I'm all for it.
Yep.
I've got a question mark whether it actually gets to those most in need. But anyway, the minimum wage went up, Willie, and it goes up 4.1% from April. And if you're an 18 to 20-year-old, you're getting an 8.5% increase.
Yeah.
And she's saying, we've did great. But of course, it's businesses that pay that, Willie.
Yes.
And I was speaking to a small business owner. I had a thing at Blair with the Ayrshire Chamber of Commerce, and I was asking, so what do they think of these things? Because that was kind of put out by the Chancellor before the budget. And they said, look, it's really important to get young people into work and to get them used to going to work and get them on the ladder. But if you're a small business, and it's always a kind of tightrope for these small businesses, Willie. And if somebody said, well, an 8.5% increase, I can't afford that as a business owner. Therefore, I'm sorry, Willie, I'm going to have to let you go.
Yep.
That is terrible.
Yes.
So it's got to be that businesses can afford to pay this. And this is where I get really annoyed. We get painted as, the bad business owners. It's the business owners who are getting the jobs, employing the young people. And, you know, in the Hunter Foundation, we have this saying, and you've heard it many times from me, the best social policy ever written is a decent paid job.
Yep.
And who creates them? The business owners.
Yes.
So can those business owners sustain an 8.5% increase? Some of them can't, Willie.
I agree.
And they're going to cut jobs. And where does that leave us?
Well, you're right. Well, we've been talking about for months and months and months about the unemployment numbers going up, right? And there's a potential for this. When I'll tell you the best thing that happened about yesterday, right? Here is the perfect excuse to do away with the OBR.
and some cynical people said it was all planned that way.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
Well, we'll find out in the next few days. I see the chairman says there's going to be an inquiry. But Mark Carney's been saying it for a long time.
Has he?
Yes. Like why bother with what the OBR have got to say and what they're doing, right? So it might be a good excuse. But what I would say to you is, going back to what does it mean? There's a few things in it I don't understand, right? That's the thing. So there's things in it I think that are good. You're right, this is a tax on business, right? There was nothing in it that really demonstrated that this was a budget for growth, right? But Rachel, to be fair, just as was still saying, yeah, that's our number one driver. So I'll wait to see what that means, and if it does, then that's great. But the other good news is, I see that the First Minister, John Swinney, has said that of the extra money that Scotland are getting, then hopefully that'll 830 million.
830 million, right?
So that might go towards the people again who need the help the most, right? But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see if this is all political rhetoric or people really mean it. Back to your point about let's see if 20,000 kids are lifted out of poverty.
Let's hope,
right?
Let's hope.
But there was other things in the budget. A couple of things I know you want to talk about, but a couple of things that I didn't understand was why at a time when you want to encourage people, right, on climate to get electric cars, do you bring out a tax on mileage on cars? And I'd love to know how they measure it. But the big worry for me is, you talking about business miles as well?
Probably.
I've got 2,500 vans in the road.
Have you?
Aye, in the UK.
How many of them electric?
Well, most of them now.
Most of them
now. Hybrid or whatever. So I'm dying to know what that means for me, right? And I don't know why. There's no doubt in my mind. You know, you're a retailer. Every time you put a barrier onto selling something, it has an effect on what you're trying to sell.
Yep.
So I've got no doubt the sales of electric cars, people will be looking at it today and they'll be trying to find out. I mean, it wasn't that long ago, there was all sorts of incentives to get an electric car.
Yep.
Right. So I think it'll be interesting to see. But the big one for me that I'm dying to get into the detail is that for the people who don't, the removal of the eco money spend is a big one for me. So to explain this to the listeners of yours is, all the big utility companies every year had to help the people in the poorest bottom quartile to see how we could help them with getting in solar panels, central heating, heat pumps, all of that kind of stuff, insulation. And that scheme's scrapped. So I'm dying to know what happens now. What do the energy companies have to do now, or what is the government going to do? Right, so that one, I'm looking for the detail on that in the next couple of days, just to see what that means.
I had a meeting this week as well, Willie, with a friend of the show, Sir Jim MacDonald, now chairman at Scottish Enterprise.
Jim.
And Jim's specialist subject is energy. Excuse me. And I think we should get him on because he's a special guest.
Yes.
And I was asking him, how come the UK has got the highest cost for energy in the industrialised world?
Yeah.
Because it seems to me, you know, it's a factor in Mossmoran, it's a factor in Grangemouth. Britain is a high cost energy. And he said that 60% of the cost of our energy is government policy because they're putting in these things. And other nations tax elsewhere, but the headline price of their energy is below Britain because they don't put it there. They've got to get the money somewhere, but they don't put it on the energy costs. Therefore, as an industrial nation, you know, you've heard Jim Ratcliffe at INEOS saying that we are the highest industrialised nation cost for energy, and it's ruining that. So maybe we need to look at that. But, you know, the other thing that I thought Rachel might do was to help the North Sea. There was this, what's called a windfall tax, put in by Boris Johnson in 2022.
EPL, yeah.
Do you remember Boris Johnson?
Unfortunately, yes.
So he put it in when oil prices were spiking, the Ukraine-Russia war, etc. And it was this windfall tax on oil and gas companies. And it stayed there. And Rachel, and it means there's a marginal rate if you're in the North Sea of about 78%, Willie. 78%. Why would MD bother? And Rachel's extended it to 2030. She's saying, the Tories did it for 7 years, I'm only doing it for 3. That's not the point. I read a report up in Aberdeen, they're losing about 1,000 jobs a month.
Wow.
Because of the North Sea. And then I read another report, which Norway, which we all hold up as this transitioning to clean energy better than us, they are still investing in oil fields. So as we close our oil fields, we buy the same hydrocarbons from Norway while laying off our own workforce. That's not right. That's madness. And Rachel, you can do something about it.
I think this is a good point, and I think you're right. And this is the EPL, it's called, right? So they could have done something with that that's going to help. And I also see this week that we're getting some, I say, retrenching for Ed Miliband saying, no, the North Sea will still be part of it. Here's what we're going to do, and blah, blah, blah. So there's a wee bit, reality's kicking in, I think.
But 78% tax,
Willie. It's crazy.
Madness.
So I think that for me, in this budget, and we need to be honest about it. See, no matter who's the Chancellor at the moment, there's going to be tough budgets for the next 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody who delivers every budget, no matter which stripe they're wearing for whatever party, it's going to be tough. And it's going to be tough because of the lack of growth.
Lack of growth.
Right? So I heard someone this morning, I think it was Ed Davies, saying, look, there's a way of fixing all of this. Go and find a clever way how we get back into dealing with Europe. Right, so let's take all the bad things of Brexit, put them to one side, we're out of that, you know, and then let's see what we can do to get back trading. And I would encourage whoever's running Scotland to think, don't take this lying down.
No.
Go and find out whatever we can get away with. No, can you devolve our power that we can go and talk to the EU or whatever it might be, because there's no doubt in my mind that would do more than anything that we can come up with or Rachel can come up with to get growth, right? Where growth numbers have been downgraded.
So you've heard me say it before, Willie, but voting to leave the European Union has been the biggest act of self-economic harm this country has ever voted for.
Yes.
And it did vote for it.
Yeah.
I didn't vote for it, but the majority of people in Britain, I think they were lied to, and I think they were duped with clever headlines, take back control. Well, we've taken back control of a much smaller economy. That's the benefit of Brexit to me. And of course, there were some things being part of Europe which were wrong, but I agree with you. And I actually agree with Ed Davey on this.
Yeah.
Find a way of letting companies trade with Europe once again, because it's got to be in our interest.
Well, to be fair, I think Rachel and her team a few months back, 6-7 months back, were actually on this.
Right.
But I think other things have kind of taken priority. I would say get back to that. Right, get back to that. And I think in the budget yesterday, when you look at it again, you know, it's like we're having a budget to fill the black hole, we were told. And then when we get into the budget yesterday, we're giving more and more away. Right, so you actually have to up your game. Right, and I'm delighted, 20,000 people, and I'm delighted if we can afford to work away, that people get paid more. But
if we can afford it.
But what we need to do is, at the moment, there's so many things that we can't afford.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that we just have to, growth has to be the number one priority, and I hope that will be Rachel's priority for the next 7 months, whatever, before the next budget into next year.
So here is a plea to John Swinney, our First Minister, and Shona Robinson, who's our equivalent of the Chancellor. Yeah. We're coming to a Scottish budget in January the 13th. Yeah. So why doesn't the Scottish Government go a different way and just say, here is our growth plan for Scotland? House building. Yeah. Let's put it at the heart of our economic strategy. You, the government, declared a housing emergency in May 2024. What's happened? We're building less houses. I spoke to a house builder this week, Willie. They are still waiting after 800 days for a planning consent in Glasgow. Yeah. 800 days. Yeah. I'm still waiting for a planning consent. We're about 400 days into it over in West Lothian. Yeah. Why don't we get the chief planner and someone who builds houses for a living in a room and lock them up until they cut through? The regulation has gone crazy. Yeah. What's more important, First Minister? Is it to save a newt or a bat, or to house a family that's in temporary accommodation and sitting there in lousy temporary accommodation? Something's got to get a grip of this and cut through the regulation and get Scotland building again. Build, baby, build. Put that at the heart of your manifesto.
I've got an answer to that problem.
Come on then.
We build all the lovely houses and we give the people free cages to keep the bats and the newts in. No, I don't know how that will go down.
Buy a house, get a free newt.
Yeah, but it's being serious about it.
But
right.
Willie, the regulation, you know it. There's so much. And we've got to get somebody, and it's got to be a government minister who's going out. Yeah. Because it's leading to a slow process, and it's leading to too many people in Scotland in lousy temporary accommodation.
Tom, let me add to that. You've been involved with your development now for many, many years. Over the last 4 years, I've been involved. Let me tell you, see if it wasn't the drive to try and make a difference, you'd never do this. You would never build a house.
We would never do it. It's
never
too hard.
Never do it. Too hard. Too hard. And it's too complicated, and it's there's so many barriers. Like there's barriers in every bit of every business. But when it comes to building houses, oh my, we're trying to drive the cost down because 50% of the average household's income now goes to spend to do with their house, right? Right. And yet what we've done now when it comes to building them, we're trying everything we can do to get the cost down. We said last week, since 2019 to 2000, at the end of 24, the cost of the average house went up by 100 grand to build.
Wow.
100 grand. Right?
Wow.
And now when it gets worse, they've just introduced that all of us developers now have to carry the can for the really bad companies that put bad cladding on buildings.
Yep.
So now when we go to build a house, we're talking about a $3.5 grand tax and everything. Going after the companies. Go after the companies that done it. Take all the money off them.
Has MD been jailed for Grenfell
No.
Tower? No. Go and get them and lock them up.
Has MD been fighting all their money took off them? And it's all because of Grenfell, to be fair, that we've got this conversation. So they want to replace all the cladding. Why not go after the companies that put it in?
Absolutely.
Right? This is another sledgehammer to crack a nut. Right?
Absolutely.
But for me, you're absolutely right. If you want to help, sit down and get serious people in a room, because you're right. Every target that's been set to build houses is going to be missed. In the UK, in Scotland, no matter what people, they want to dress it up, put it whatever. You've had some of the big builders in Scotland in the last 2 weeks telling you, we're going to build 10% less than we built last year, 14% less than we built last year. So this is, we're going back the way, right? And this is going to get worse and worse and worse. But you want to make a wee point about the family businesses.
I do.
Right.
So maybe end on a high note.
Right.
So this week, the Herald and Business Gateway were sponsoring the Scottish Family Business Awards.
Yeah.
And we've looked into this, how important family businesses are to the Scottish economy.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, 84% of all business in Scotland is family related. It's the backbone of the Scottish economy.
Yeah.
And I don't think we talk about it enough.
Yeah.
And good on Andrew Malcolm, the Malcolm Group, friend of the show, for sponsoring some of these awards.
Yeah.
And the winners, there's Billington's in Lenzie, won Delicatessen, won the Small Business Award, Family Business Award. Equi's Ice Cream, friend of the show, won the Family Business Green Business of the Year. And Allied Vehicles, another friend of the show, won the Big Business of the Year. Brown's Food Group won the fastest growing family business in Scotland. And it just seems to me, and I was looking into it, and the top 100 family businesses in Scotland, of which you're a big part of, employ well over 120,000 people, Willie. Yeah. They are the backbone of our economy. And I would say, and this is a Westminster thing, the IHT that Rachel proposed at the last budget is going to kill succession of family businesses.
Yeah.
And if you've got any influence, I have none. You've got to tell her.
Right.
This is not right.
So just to explain this to the viewers, to the listeners, is that the new introduction of this new tax meant that if you were going to transfer your family business over to the employees,
or the next generation, there was 100% relief in that, as long as it continued as an operating business. Yes.
And now they're introducing, you only get 50% relief, right? And this will be a problem. And I can tell you, I think I've mentioned it months and months, there is tax advisors all over the country at the moment in rooms every day with people telling them what to do. So I would just say to you, Rachel, definitely have a look at that one, right? It's why all the farmers were out in London yesterday, all of that kind of stuff, right? And I would have a look at that. I'd have a look at it, right? But I think what we should do is a few things that we've been saying is going to happen has happened, right? But me and you just want Scotland to flourish.
We do.
Right, okay? I'm saying that we've been putting up ideas. Some people like the ideas, they don't like the ideas, whatever. But what we're offering is, especially when it comes to housing, right? If you want advice on what you think is the right thing to do, not just the things that are good for us.
No,
but
we're not talking our own book here.
We are offering advice, right, for free. So for anybody in the government, the First Minister, Deputy First Minister, the Housing Minister, we can tell them about all the things that we've done that is right and wrong. And I think that we can talk about, for most of the other people who have been building houses, you know most of them, you're talking to them, and just to say, look, no, we don't need, especially in housing, we don't need another think tank.
We don't.
Right? We need an action group. And what we're saying is, if you want us to give you any advice on that or be part of that, get an action group together, because I'm telling you, the housing problem is going to get worse.
And better than that, Willie, we will put together the top builders in Scotland in a room. Yeah. Let's get the government minister responsible. Let's get the chief planning officer for Scotland. Yeah. And I'm going to lock the door until we've got an action plan. because we don't need a report that's going to take forever. This can be done in an afternoon.
Yes.
And I will provide the room. I'll provide the tarty scones and the Tunnock's caramel tea cakes or whatever they're called.
Sponsored by our friend.
Sponsored by Boyd Tunnock. But let's do it. Let's take Scotland in a different route here, because we're going to miss the housing numbers. We're going to miss them in a housing emergency.
Yeah.
Who's accountable? And please get hold of us and let's fix it.
Let's build on the great news that Glasgow, after many, many years, has come up with a solution for cowlayers, right? So they've been talking about Aviva being involved, Snip being involved.
Where's this, Willie?
And just up in the north of Glasgow,
Right.
Okay, we mentioned it a few weeks ago in the show where Aviva and Snip were going to be involved, but at least Glasgow has done something now. This was a problem site. They've been trying to do something for years and years. Right. It's up beside our friends, Allied Vehicles, right up there in the north of the city. Brilliant, it's needed there, right? Magic. So they've came in. I think there's going to be, first for 350 to get it kick-started. But well done to Glasgow.
Okay.
Right? If that's what you're doing, and it looks as if you're doing something, and if there's anything that we can help to do that, to push that on, but that sounds as if somebody is thinking it's a real emergency and we're going to do something about it.
And, my plea to the people in power is we don't expect you to have all the answers. Yeah. How would Mary McCallum know about house building? She's never had any experience of it. Yeah. But a good leader would ask for help from people who do this for a living. And we're offering it free of charge. Yeah. We're not talking our own book. We're doing it for the good of Scotland. Yeah. If your phone doesn't ring, you'll notice the housing minister.
Well, man, if you want to come on the show, have a chat about it. If it's going to help in any way, it's an open invitation. Delighted.
Get it in the budget on the 13th of January.
More money for house building.
It's not even just money, less regulation.
Right, let's forget about the budget now and go to something.
I can't forget it, Willie.
No, you're right. Okay. Something's near at home. It's good to see that Grangemouth again this week. It seems that the Chancellor again has announced an extra $14.5 million for the communities funds connected to this site. This cash is in addition to what's already been promised by the National Wealth Fund. While additional funds are good news, many are still waiting for the original $200 million from the Wealth Fund to materialise. Again, this is government promises. The money doesn't come. But at least this is, if there's another 15 million, hopefully that's going to help us get something else set up new there that will create new jobs in that area, because they're going to need it.
They're going to need it, Willie, but, let me be controversial for a second.
Right.
Until we sort out our energy prices, nobody's going to invest in an energy-hungry business in Grangemouth or Mossmoran or anywhere else.
Right. So I think this is a really good point. So let's just say just now that we're running this business and we come into the boardroom and we've worked out in the last 5 minutes the two biggest problems in our business is house building and energy. So we're saying to the government, right, put everything else a wee bit in the back burner and deal with these two big things.
Focus.
See if you fix them, it'll fix the country.
So I had this conversation this week. If we had an emergency in any of our businesses, Willie, we focus on it.
Correct.
And we are relentless until we fix it.
Yeah.
Every night, where have you got to? Every morning, what are we doing today about it?
Yeah.
Have we fixed it? Have we fixed it?
Yeah.
Why is there not this relentless drive to solve the housing crisis in Scotland? To solve the energy prices in Scotland?
Yeah. So, interested on that, and I just want to make this point. So, it was announced in the last couple of days that national investors, the British Growth Fund, known as BGF, have announced a £15 million investment into Crudens, who build a lot of social and affordable houses.
And you actually gave me the guy who used to run Crudens, and he now sits in my board
Gallagher,
at Winchborough, John Gallagher.
But it said, I read all the PR stuff about it, saying that the sizable injection is designed to help the SME house builder bring forward several key sites, right? But when I read it in the paper, it says, this will help unlock maybe thousands of houses. £15 million builds you 53 houses. Right, so it's great, it's all right, but let's not get carried away. Let's not people think out there, oh great, all that money's going to do this. Right, let's not get carried away with a hyperbole.
And listen, on the affordable side, as you know, when we develop a site, we commit 25% is going to be affordable. Yeah. It's not the money per se that's stopping this. Money is one element of it, but it's the time it takes to get the planning, to go through every bit of planning legislation, environmental health, newts, bats,
SEPA.
everything else. We got to cut that because the big house builders want to build houses. That's what they do for a living. And they're no short of money, Willie.
Right, so I was doing a talk at a housing conference yesterday in Glasgow, right, okay? Hosted by BEST, there's the government part involvement in the innovation hub out at Hamilton.
And are they best?
Well, I think they're getting there.
Okay.
I think they're getting there, yeah. I think they're having an impact and it's a good opportunity for them. But at that conference, a lad put up a picture of a home, a new home that's been built up north somewhere, whatever, right? And I'm doing my bit, and I said to all the people in the audience who don't know anything about planning, some of the people did, but most of them didn't. And I says, let me put this into context for you. See that house up there? It was a £200,000, £300,000 villa. I says, I can build that house from start to finish in 14 weeks.
Wow.
It'll take me 14 months to get planning for it.
That's
the problem.
That statistic, Willie, is exactly what we need to do.
Yeah.
If we were running this country, we'd be focused on saying, how do we get it to the same as Singapore?
Yeah.
How do we get it? And listen, all this regulation come in, it was green, it was environmental, I'm just saying to the people in charge, what's more important, a newt, a bat, or a family in lousy temporary accommodation? Work it out.
That's a good point. On growth, the Scottish Government released its new life sciences strategy, which aims to push the growth of the sector of upwards of 25 billion in the next 10 years, up from 10 billion presently. The strategy has a reform cluster body called Life Sciences Scotland, industry-leading leadership group at its heart, and has received a kickstart grant of £1 million to get it moving. Key measures the group will execute on investment will be in NHS innovation hubs, feasibility studies on getting more lab and manufacturing space built, and developing connections between academia and business to speed up innovation. A step in the right direction or another quangle?
Well, I think it's a step in the right direction.
I agree.
I'm going to say well done to those involved getting this. The life sciences are something I know a little bit about, not that much. We invest with Professor Sir Christopher Evans and trying to find cures for cancer. And he's telling me that AI is going to transform the industry because it crunches a lot of data in clinical trials, Willie. And something that would have taken 18 months is now taking 18 days to crunch the data. Yeah. So that's transformational. And places like Dundee in Scotland are seen as a centre of excellence. Yeah. And the more we can do, getting everybody in the room that's academia, that's business, that's the people who are the big pharma companies who are going to buy this innovation, I say well done. Let's
finish with another bit of good news. JP Morgan Chase, who've been great investors in the city and employ about 2,500 people. Its technology hub has donated $1 million to support the GROW programme, Glasgow Regional Opportunities for Work. The programme is designed to be specific to Glasgow and aims to help people from difficult socio-economic backgrounds get the right skills that are needed by Glasgow employers and into work. They intend to work with 250 businesses across the region and support over 700 young people into work. The programme is being delivered by both the Glasgow Chamber of Commerce, our friends, and the Developing the Young Workforce, DYW. Brilliant. Brilliant initiative.
Well done, JP Morgan.
Yeah.
They're a big employer in the city of Glasgow now, Willie, and they're putting something back into the city. Thank you, Jamie Dimon.
Tom, I think this is the happiest we've ever started off in a show, obviously because of the great result for Scotland. Can't wait. Well, we're going to do a show live from wherever we end up in the World Cup draw.
Living in America.
I hope all the viewers and listeners enjoyed the show. We look forward to talking to you again next week. Hopefully, very soon we'll be taking our wee New Year and Christmas break. We'll let you know about that next week.
Are you giving me a break?
No, you'll still be working. I'm off.
Right, okay. I thought so. But listen, as we say it most weeks, worry about the things in your business that you can control. You can't control Rachel Reeves. Maybe Willie can, but the rest of us can't. Entrepreneurs will find an opportunity in amongst all this chaos, and that's what we're good at, is finding a way through it to the other end. So good luck to you. Don't get down with the budget. Find an opportunity, and let's make Scotland flourish.